So you're looking to build a habit to bike every day so you can be healthier, feel better, look better, and maybe even save some money and live longer. Here's how to actually ride your bike every day. Speaking of bikes, this video is sponsored by Wabi Cycles. To learn more about the bike that I'm rebuilding a habit of biking every day on, and what makes them so good, and what makes me want to ride a Wabi every day, stick around until the end of the video to learn more about them. Step 1 to actually riding your dang bike every single day is that you need to make the least amount of decisions possible. Because the hardest part about getting on the bike every day is just getting out of the door. But once you're actually dressed up and on your bike, riding it is a lot of fun, it's easy, and you feel way better after a ride than you did before it. So to ride your bike every day, you have to get into the mindset that there are absolutely no excuses for not getting on your bike. Whether it's cold, whether it's hot, whether it's raining, snowing, hailing, or whether there's good weather, you need to decide that you are getting on your bike that day. Another good decision to make in advance is the time that you're going to ride your bike. For me, I found out that I feel best when I ride my bike in the morning because it gives me energy for the entire day and it helps me to think more clearly for the entire day. But even if I don't ride my bike in the morning, I will still ride before lunch, after lunch, before dinner, or even after dinner, or even before I go to bed. For me, riding earlier in the day is definitely better, but just getting on my bike and riding it, no matter how long or how short it is way better and makes me feel way better than if I didn't do it at all. You should have at least one good route. And when I say good, I don't mean long, I don't mean hard, I just mean one that you like that is close to where you live. A good route that is out from your house and back to your house. Another decision you shouldn't have to make is whether or not your bike is ready to ride. So the bare minimum that you should do is pump up your tires at least once a week or so and make sure that your bike is ready for whatever conditions that you're going to be riding in. Right now for me, it's winter here in Northern California. It's quite rainy, so I have a front and rear fender. That's just a clip-on fender. You can find all this gear that I'm recommending in the description, and also have a good headlight and a taillight so that if it is dark, you can still just get on your bike and start riding. Step 2 for how to actually ride your bike every day is to make it stupidly easy. It should be so easy that you feel stupid if you don't do it. And the first part of that is getting dressed. Either lay out the clothes that you're going to ride in for that day the night before so it's ready for you to jump into and get on your bike, or do what I do and just wear the clothes that you're going to ride in for the day. This is one reason why I love riding in jeans, because it's just like I wear jeans all the time. I find them oddly comfortable to bike in, and I am always ready to ride my bike. For me, riding in everyday clothes eliminates the friction of getting on my bike every single day and improving my life in a tangible way every single day. Again, it should be stupidly easy. You need to feel stupid if you don't do it. A lot of people, when trying to build a habit, especially for biking, get too ambitious and say, oh, I'm going to ride 20 miles every day, 15 miles every day. Heck, even just like, I'm gonna ride 5 miles every day. But sometimes life happens. We don't have time to ride 5 miles every day. Or we don't want to go out for 5 miles every day, and then the excuses start to come in. So rather than that, think about it like, do something that's easy for you. For me, what's easy for me is I do my 2-mile loop around the lake every day, at least. I do have some other routes, but I have this as like my bare minimum route, where if I don't do this, it only takes like less than 10 minutes. 10 minutes is like if I'm riding really slow. But if that's even too much for you, can you do 1 minute every day? If you can ride your bike for 1 minute every day, then you will actually start to ride your bike every single day. Remember, it's supposed to be stupidly easy. Another thing that will help is if you have the same route, just a quick out and back from your house so that you don't have to think where to go. and you don't have to think of excuses and complain. Heck, even if it's just around your block, it should be so easy. You can't not do it. Because again, the hardest part of riding your bike every day is just getting out the door. So if you can focus and build a habit of just getting on the dang bike, getting out the door, everything else will follow. Once you start to build that habit of just getting out the door, you'll find that biking is actually super fun, and some days you'll want to ride longer than a minute. Some days I want to do longer than 2 miles, even if the weather sucks. Because there's some days where you just need to bike more, and you will want to bike more. But it all starts with just building the habit of getting on the dang bike. Don't focus on how fast you rode your bike. Don't focus on how far you rode your bike. Just focus on, did you ride your bike? All of that stuff will come later if you want it to. But the important thing here is that you have a clear definition of what counts as a success and what counts as failing to fulfill your obligation that you said that you would do yourself, so that you could be healthier, happier, stronger, faster, all those Daft Punk adjectives. And the final piece of the puzzle to building a habit to where it actually sticks, you gotta track it and see your progress. So one of the most prolific comedians of all time is Jerry Seinfeld, and he had a habit of writing one joke every day. Doesn't matter if it's good, doesn't matter if it's bad. And he does this process called don't break the chain, where he can only put an X on his calendar if he wrote a joke that day. So something that you can try is like this. Use a calendar, whatever is your preference, to not break the chain. And I've only put slashes on my calendar where I rode my bike for, it doesn't matter, I rode my bike. And on the 14th and the 15th of January, I literally just forgot one day. That was it. And then the following day, it was nighttime. It was like 8:30 or something at night. I was like, oh, it's really cold. I don't want to go out there. I already broke the chain. So the idea here is that it's easier to not break the chain. And once you don't break your chain of doing your habit every single day, it becomes easier and easier to do it. But if you do break the chain, it becomes easier to skip it again and again. And the longer chain you have of crosses in your calendar, the more you feel inclined to not break the chain and just ride your dang bike for 1 minute. And yes, I do feel really dumb for breaking my 14-day chain. So use a calendar that you'll see every day. This is a productivity journal. It's kind of expensive, but it helped me get my life together, like real talk. Something I really like about this one is the habit tracker, which is just a grid. You could probably just get a free printout online if you really wanted. But I like that it's all in a notebook. And so I have here, ride bike at least 1 block. And I've done it up until the 14th and 15th. I skipped. But today's January 16th, where I can put another bullet and continue my chain. So when you track it, you can see your progress on a bigger scale. I also have other habits here that I'm building or trying to build and be conscious of. And you can see how much progress you're making. The goal of tracking your habits is not to be perfect, but rather, it's to see how much progress you're making. If you're just tracking your habits, you can see, okay, well, I missed a couple days this month, but I still rode, 28 days out of 30. That's 28 more days that I rode compared to last month, so that's a lot of progress. And another thing you should keep in mind is, how do you feel after riding your bike? Whether you're journaling it, or just telling somebody, or just saying it out loud, how you feel after riding your bike. Today was a little cold today, but I'm really glad I rode my bike and I feel great. I feel super clear-headed. I'm glad I got some fresh air. It got my heart pumping. There's me, fulfilling my habit for the day of just tracking how my mood is after doing that habit and seeing whether it's good for me or not. And the goal with that is eventually It might suck in the beginning, but you gotta keep doing it. You'll start to like it. You'll feel better. And eventually it's going to go from being this obligation that you have to fulfill every day to being something that you genuinely want to do every day, to being something that you feel like you have to do every day because your day doesn't feel complete without it. A habit is something that is easier to do than it is not to do. Just like how I have to tell you about today's sponsor every day, Wabi Cycles. No joke, Wabi Cycles has changed my life, and I'm not just talking about the fact that they give me money to say the things that I would say anyway about them, but rather their bikes are actually so good that it's another thing to look forward to when I get on my bike every day. They help reduce the friction that we have and the excuses that we tell ourselves that we shouldn't ride our bikes or that we don't want to ride our bikes because they are just so dang fun to ride. And part of what makes it so life-changing for me and makes it so fun to ride is that these bikes are meticulously hand-built out of top-tier Reynolds 725 or Columbus Spirit steel. It has a ride quality that just encourages you to want to get on the bike and encourages you to keep pedaling the bike once you are on it. My Wabi is one of my most treasured possessions because it tangibly improves my life. And if you're looking to get one for yourself, be sure to check out Wabi Cycles linked in the description. And Fixie famous shoutouts to David K, Julian Corona, Brandon Black, Brent David, Perez, and Onchi for helping to make these fixed gear videos possible through the support on Patreon. And remember, a life is short, but don't make it shorter, so be sure to ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous.